When you're done coloring in your picture, or pictures if you did some on here or on the base, you're going to go ahead and glue this together so your instructor can spray it with a clear coat. To do that, you're going to need a couple of things. One is a bottle of wood glue, and remember, this simply opens up by pulling up on the lid. You're also going to need a slightly wet paper towel and a slightly dry paper towel to wipe up any excess glue. You are going to need a slightly wet paper towel, so what you'll do is you'll simply pull a paper towel off, take the water, turn it on, wet it down, squeeze out all the excess water. Okay, so it's wet, but it's not dripping. I've squeezed out the excess water. You may need a dry one too, so just simply pull one more off, and you'll take these back to your station. Now, on the bottom, it should have been no sand, and it should sit nice and flat. Your clock should also sit nice and flat. Now, it's up to you if you want this on the left, if you want it on the right, you know, if you want it angled a little bit, angled a little bit. Those are all completely your choices. You decide where and how you want these glued in. But you're going to glue down each piece, and it's going to take some time. You're going to have to hold this as a human clamp for a few minutes, and I'll explain that in a moment. But so to start, you want to make sure it sits flat. If this would have a big wobble to it for some reason, you would let your instructor know, and they'll see if it's too big of a wobble, they may take it to the electric sander and fix it up for you a little bit. You're going to put a very thin bead of glue on the bottom where it says no sand. So what that's going to look like when it comes to the amount of glue is a very thin bead of glue. So there's not a lot. It's a very small amount and a thin bead of glue. You do not want a lot of glue. So once again, that's a very thin, small amount of glue. You're then going to go ahead and carefully put your holder where you want it, and you're going to become a human clamp holding that down. And if you need to, you can use online stopwatch and hit start, and you're going to hold that down for 2 minutes. So you're going to hold that down for at least 2 minutes, and that means physically pushing down, making sure it's not floating around. Now, if you'd have any glue ooze out, you can take your damp paper towel, wipe up any glue that you might see, and if you need to, you can always turn your piece around, make sure you don't see any glue coming out the back. But you want to go ahead and simply hold that down for about 2 minutes. After it's been at least 2 minutes, you're going to go ahead and glue down your other piece exactly where you want it. Now, once again, you're going to go ahead and you're going to go to the bottom where it says no sand, and if for some reason yours isn't sitting flat or right, you would let your instructor know. But you're going to take the bottom where it says no sand, and you're going to put a very thin bead of glue once again. It's not a lot of glue. It's a very thin bead of glue. Notice it's not running down because there's so much on it. It's a very thin bead of glue. I can't stress it enough that it's a thin bead of glue. I'm then going to go ahead, bring my clock face, line it up where I want it, and once again I would push and hold down, and if I want, I could either do it or I could have my partner go ahead and hit start, and you would once again click start, give it at least 2 minutes before you let go. But you'll notice sometimes there's a little glue that oozes out. So right here you can see that little bit of glue. Take your wet paper towel, wipe that glue up. Be careful not to smear it across your picture, but wipe up any excess glue that you see. Once again, you can give it a quick little turn, make sure you don't see any on the back or off to the sides, and you would go ahead and push and hold once again until the clock says 2 minutes. All right, once again, once you've been holding for 2 minutes or more, you can go ahead and let go, but you would once again look to make sure you didn't see any glue that you missed, because it's still soft enough to wipe up. But once you have it to this point, you're going to take your paper towels, and if your partner's done, you're going to put the paper towels in the trash can. You're going to put the glue bottle back where it belongs after you've closed it and made sure you cleaned up that top. You're then going to carefully take your clock to your instructor or wherever your instructor told you to put them, because your instructor is then going to spray it with a clear coat, and they're also going to put in a couple brad nails to make sure these stay on and don't fall off. Take them to wherever it needs to go so it can get brad nails and a clear coat. Once it's got a clear coat, which takes 24 hours, you'll then go ahead and watch the video for putting your clock and clock mechanism in.